This conference will now be recorded.
So in the last class, we started with Angular and we have seen the introduction of Angular. The main use of going with Angular is to develop this front-end web application platform. To go with the web application front-end design, we do by using Angular. And Angular is TypeScript based. The code what we write in Angular is with TypeScript. And the main use of going with Angular is to develop single page applications. And we develop single page applications using routing. So which we discuss in today's class how to go with routing also. And we have done the Angular setup, like we have installed Angular CLI and we have created one Angular project. Now let us open that project folder in Visual Studio Code. So we have created this Angular project. So let me open this folder in command prompt. Just to type here cmd, which opens in command prompt. Now open this project folder in Visual Studio Code. So how to open project folder in Visual Studio Code? Just we have to use the command code dot. Dot means the current directory. Code means Visual Studio Code, and this dot means current directory means Angular project folder we want to open in Visual Studio Code. Just say code dot, press enter key, which opens our project folder in Visual Studio Code. Right? You can see this project folder. So whenever you make a request to Angular project, it goes to index.html file present under src. Based on this element app root, it loads the app component. In app component, the three important files are app.component.ts. So in order to load this class app component, the selector is app root. So for this app component, who is taking care of presentation? app.component.html. So whatever the content present in app.component.html, this content will get displayed onto our browser. Then app.component.css, the styling part, we do it in app.component.css. Now let us build the project. How to build? Which command? ng serve. So once the build is successful, open browser and type the URL http://localhost 4200. So which displays our content onto the browser. So this is app component. The content whatever we are displaying here is what? App component. Now today let us move to the next topics. Like we discussed three concepts today. One is Angular directives, and one more Angular forms, and one more Angular routing. These three topics we'll be discussing in today's class. And in tomorrow's class, we go with Angular HTTP client module, which is very, very important to us. Now, let us essentially go with Angular directives. So we are having the Angular directives like star ng for and star ng if are Angular directives. Right? Now, how to use this? Let's understand with the example application. Create a new component. Create a new component. Address as follows. So whenever you want to create a component at your prompt or terminal, use the command ng generate component and the component name. So by default, app component will get created by Angular. Now, as a programmer, whenever you want to create a new component, we have to use which command? ng generate component address. Right? Let me show this. Terminate this compilation, Control C. Now create a new component. How to create? In our project folder, ng generate component address. Press enter key. The files will be created here. Address.component.ts address.component.html, address.component.css. These three files are important to us. Now see, if you open your Visual Studio Code, you can see under app, you can see a subfolder say address, because app is the root component. Any new component we create, that will be created under app folder only. So here, if you expand this address, you can see the files app.address.component.ts, address.component.html, address.component.css. Now, come to this address.component.ts file in the class address component. Let us go with a property user of type any, means any type of data we can store in user. Now, go with a constructor. In constructor, we'll give the value to user like this dot user equal to the name of the user, subname, the address, some address, the phone. Let us suppose the user is having multiple phones. How to manage multiple data? Using arrays. So whenever you want to go with arrays, we use square brackets. So let us go with the phone. Let us suppose the user is having multiple phone numbers, right? So what we have done, in this address component, we are having a property user, and in the constructor, we are giving the value to this user like name, address, and phone. Now we want to display these values onto the browser. So where to display the values? Whenever you want to display content, we have to go to this address.component.html. Here you can display the data. So go with the division. Now here we'll display in H3 how to take the value of property, data binding, how to take user dot name, then H4 user dot address, and let us create one more division for phone. We'll create a paragraph 4. Since phone is an array, how to take the elements of array? By using indexes like this. User dot phone of 0, index starts from 0. Then next one, user dot phone of 1, right? So we are just displaying the content here. Now see, when we come to this prompt, now build your project. How to build the project? Ng sir. So once we say ng sir, once the build is successful, open browser and type this URL localhost 4200. But it's not showing anything about address component, right? So we have created this address component with the property user with this values, name, address, and phone. Now in address.component.html, we are displaying our content. Just we are displaying the name, address, and phone. But in our browser, address component is not getting loaded. Only app component is getting loaded, because whenever you make a request, it will go to this app.component.html. Only this content is getting displayed. Now we want to enter into address component. How to go to address component? See the selector name, app address. So what is the selector to enter into address component? App address. So in this app.component.html, use the element app address. So when we use the element app address, then your address component will be loaded now. See here. See, we are getting the contents here. So this is our address component. Now I want to do some styling here. So how to go with styling? Address.component.css. For H3, we'll say text color as red. For H4, color green. And for paragraph, we'll say color blue. Right? Just I'm giving some colors. Now see the result here. We are getting the colors here. So we are doing some styling also. Now let us understand the Angular directives. Here in this address.component.ts, if you are having one more phone number, if you go with one more phone number, then will this third phone number will get displayed here? See, no. So how to make it display? Again we have to go to this address.component.html. Again we have to use the paragraph element and say user dot phone of 2. So we have to access this element user dot phone of 2, then only we get see that third phone number here. Means whenever the component is getting updated, every time we have to come back to HTML file and update our code. Instead of this, we can make use of Angular directives. So how to use this? Let me show. Let me keep this code in comments. Control slash. Now create a division. Here we'll go with phone. And we'll traverse this. Since phone is an array, we have to traverse it. How to traverse? Using Angular directive ng for star ng for equal to let phone number of user.phone. So we are traversing this user.phone array. So let phone number of user.phone means it will go to this phone array, takes one element and stores into this phone number just to display this phone number. That's it. Now see, we get the same result here. Now if I go to this component and if I go with only 2 phone numbers, I need not touch HTML file. That will work even for 2 phone numbers. Even if I go with one phone number also, your code is going to work. Here we get only one phone number. If you are not having any phone numbers, here we won't have any phone numbers. So if there are no phone numbers, I don't want to display this label phone at all. Then means I don't want to display this division at all if there are no phone numbers. Then how to check? By using condition ng if equal to user.phone.length. If the length of the array is greater than 0 only, user.phone is what? It's the array. If the length of that array is greater than 0 only, I want to display this division. Else we don't want to display this division. Now see the result? We won't get the label phone here. Right? Now, if you are having phone numbers, so if you are having phone numbers, then that phone numbers will be displayed for us. Okay. To iterate your array, we use this ng for. To check for some conditions, we use ngif. Clear this concept, all of you? Any questions? Right? So compulsory, you need to practice this. Very important concept Angular is. If you practice only, we can understand what is happening. Because the approach we write the code is different here. Address.component.ts file, address.component.html, address.component.css, and app.component.html updated. So whenever we create new component, we need to add that component into app.component.html. Next. Let us move to the next one, Angular forms. Angular forms. Now, so what is the main need of going with forms? To accept the user input. Angular forms are used to accept the user input and submit the form data to the component. Now, very important point. To use Angular forms, we need to add forms module. We need to add forms module in app.model.ts file. So whenever you want to use Angular forms, we need to add this module, forms module, in which file? app.model.ts file. Let me show this. So here under app, you can see a file app.model.ts. Here you can see imports. Here you can see imports. Under imports, we need to add this forms module. So select and press enter key, then the respective import will happen automatically. So we have to add this forms module under imports. So once we select and press enter key, the respective import will happen here. So if not happening, you can type it manually. Now, let us go with the example application. Create a new component. Create a new component, customer. How to create a component? Ng generate component. Ng generate component, customer. Or we can use a shortcut ng-gc. G means generate, C means component. What is the component name? Customer. Okay. Now, so let us go with the programs here, like customer, customer.component.html, customer.component.css and finally we have to update into app.component.html. Updated. Right? These three are the important files. Now let us generate this component customer. So at your terminal, Control-C to come back to prompt. Now generate a component, ng generate component customer. So here the files will get created. Now in our Visual Studio Code, see under app we can see one more folder, customer. The important files are customer.component.html, customer.component.ts. So I'm not going with CSS, that you can manage. Now in this customer.component.html, let us create a form. Whenever you want to create a form, which tag we use? Form tag. And we'll say ash customer as ng form. So we are indicating that whatever the form we are creating, that form is Angular form. Ng means Angular form. And the ID given to that is customer. It's a Angular form. Then ng submit. Ng submit means once we submit this form, we want to invoke the function on click submit. On click submit, we'll say customer.value. I'll elaborate more on this again. Right? So I'll elaborate what is this ng submit. Now design the form here. So here we'll say customer name, customer ID. We'll say input type equal to text, name equal to, I'll say CID, customer ID. Then we'll say here in square bracket parenthesis ng model ng model equal to CID. So this is important. So what is this ng model equal to CID is, this we call it as two-way data binding. Two-way data binding. So what is the meaning of two-way data binding is like, the data what we fill in this text field will go to your component. The data what we fill in the text field, it will go to the component. From component again it will come back and store into this, CID. So we can take the data from your form to component back to form, both the directions. So that is called as two-way data binding. So this ng model is, we call it as two-way data binding. Similarly, create customer name, input type equal to text, name equal to customer name, ng model equal to customer name. Then customer age, input type equal to text, name equal to age, ng model equal to age. Right? And one submit button, input type equal to submit, value equal to submit. Now when you click on this submit button, it's going to invoke which function? On click submit. That is the meaning of ng submit here. Now to this we are passing customer.value. So what is the ID given to this form? Customer. It's an Angular form. So when you say customer.value, these three values, whatever the values we have entered in this text field, these three values are now present in this customer.value. Now come to this customer.component.ts. Here let us go with the properties. Customer ID, it's of type number. We'll go with some default value like space, or we can, since we are not using any processing, we'll say string. Then customer name, type string with an empty space. Then age, string with an empty space. Now create the function on click submit. Create the function on click submit, customer of type any. So when you don't know what type of data we get, we go with any type. Then in this function, we'll say this dot CID equal to customer.CID. Here. So we are getting customer. From where you are getting customer? This one. So this customer holds these three values. So we are taking one value, customer.CID. That value we are storing into this CID. Similar way, we'll say this dot CName equal to customer.CName. This dot age equal to customer.age. So the data what you are having in the form, that will come and store here, that we are assigning to the properties here. Now these values are ready. Now what we want to do? We want to show this data in tabular format. We want to show the data in what? Tabular format. So create a table. Create a table with border. Go with the caption for your table, means the name of the table, some caption like customer details. Then go with tbody. Here we create a table row. In the first row, we go with the table heading, customer ID. Then in table data, we want to take the value of CID. So how to take? Just simply can say CID here. Data binding. Since we have applied two-way data binding, so if I want to take the value of the CID, just you can use two curly braces CID. Similar way, create a row, th customer name, td the value of CName. Then next one, create one more row, th customer age, td the value of age. That's it. Okay, now save this. Now Build your project. How to build? How to build? Ng serve. So once the build is successful, see here, it's loading only address component and app component. So I don't want to go to address component. So keep this code in comments. Let me keep this code in comments. Control / will make that line comment. Now we want to load customer component. So we have to say app customer. App customer. Now see here, customer will be loaded here. App customer. See here, it's loading the customer. Now fill the data like customer ID 101, customer name, then customer age. See here, whenever you are typing, immediately we are getting here. That is the advantage of going with the two-way data binding. So what are the data we are filling? See here, that values we are getting here immediately. This we call two-way data binding. Clear this concept, all of you? How to go with forms? Right? So very important. Please practice this. Moving to the next one, and this is very, very important of today's class. That is Angular routing. Angular routing. So what is the main use of routing? Routing is used to navigate between the pages. The routing is used to develop single page applications. Routing is mainly for what? To develop single page applications. So whenever you make a request, instead of loading the complete page, only part of the page we can reload. So such type of applications only we call single page applications. Now, let us understand this with the example application. Create the following new components. Ng generate component home, Ng generate component about, Ng generate component dashboard. Just we are creating components. No need to worry about the code inside the components. We are worried about only routing concept now. So we have to create these three components. Let us create this. Terminate this compilation. Now generate the components. Ng generate component home, Ng generate component about, Ng generate component dashboard. So we have created totally three components. Now the next important file is, this is very important file. Create a router configuration file. Create a router configuration file, router config.ts in app folder. This is the major important file for us. Any name, the file name can be anything. Router config.ts. The extension is .ts, TypeScript file. Now, under app folder, here in app folder we have to create. How to create? Say right click on app and say new file. Let us go with the name router config.ts. Now start writing the code. Export constant app routes. What's the meaning of export? Public. It's like public concept. So we are creating one constant variable app routes. It's of type routes. Here once we are typing, select this. Select these routes and press enter key so that the respective import will happen automatically. Routes equal to, in square brackets, within curly braces, say path colon home. If the path is home, the component what we want to load is home component. I'll elaborate this code once again. Then, if path is about, then the component what we want to load is about component. Then, if the path is dashboard, we want to load the component dashboard component, right? So we are creating these app routes with soft type routes, and these are the paths here. I'll come back and explain this file once again. Now, next step is update app.model.ts file by adding the router module. So we need to update this app.model.ts file. So go to this app.model.ts file. In this app.model.ts file, under imports, we need to add which module? Router module. So under imports, we are adding the router module, which will take care of importing the respective module here. Then to this router module, we need to select this router module dot for root. To this, we need to pass our app routes. So just now we have created this app routes. This we need to pass to this router module. So router module dot for root app routes. Then once this is done, the next step, update app.component.html file. Go to this app.component.html file. Now I don't want to load customer component, so keep it in comments, /. Now here we'll create one division, style equal to text align center. Now in this division, let us create one navigation. NAV tag is used for creating navigation. So here we are creating one router links here, hyperlinks here by using anchor tag. A router link equal to home, and we'll say here home. A router link equal to about, we'll create an hyperlink about. Then a router link equal to dashboard, we'll create dashboard. Meaning, now see, understand carefully. When you click on this home hyperlink, the router link name is home. So when the router link name is home, it will go to this router config, and when the path is home, this should match here. This one, home. This router link name home, and here path is home. Then when you click on home hyperlink, since the router link is home, it has to load which component? Home component. So this home component will be loaded now when you click on home hyperlink. Similar way, when you click on about, the router link name is about, then it's going to load which component? About component. Dashboard, when you click on dashboard, the router link name is dashboard, it's going to load dashboard component. So based on the link what you are creating, the respective components will be loaded here. So that is the use of this app routes variable. Now, so to make the routing work, we have to use one element, router outlet. So when we use this element router outlet, then only the routing process is going to work here. Now next step, build the project, ngser, then open browser and type the following URL. Right? Now build the project using the command ngser. Now after successful build, see here. So this is our app component. This complete thing is what here? App component. This is our app component. Right? Now when you click on this hyperlink home, see here, home works means this part of area is home component. About works. Dashboard works. So this part of area is fixed. So instead of loading the complete page, only part of the page is getting reloaded here. Only part of the page is getting reloaded. So this type of applications only we call single page applications. Now what you can do? You can go to the respective component and add the content for your component. Like example, we'll go to this home component. We'll go to home component, home.component.html. Here we'll say h3. Welcome to RRR Technologies. Then we'll say h4 courses offered. Then UL type equal to square LI programming languages, LI databases, LI web technology, some content, your wish. Okay. Now see the content here. So now when you click on home, see this content we are getting. But it's not looking good for us. So whenever you want to go with good look and feel, what we have to use CSS. So go to the home.component.css file. So here we'll say h3 text align left, because we are getting center. Why we are getting center? In app component we have created division style text align center. So complete style will be center. Now we want to make this home component elements to be left align. So text align left, and we'll set color red. Some colors, okay. Then h4 text align left, color green. Then paragraph element, sorry, not paragraph, UL, right? UL text align left, color blue. Some colors. Now see the result here. See here how good it is looking now. So this is about component, this is dashboard, and this is home component. So similar way, go to the respective components and add the content to that components. Okay. So this concept is very, very important. So please practice this. Okay. Compulsory, if you practice only, you can understand what is happening and you can remember also. Okay. Now, so that's about for today. And in tomorrow's class, we'll go with the last part of Angular, where we discuss very, very important module, Angular HTTP client module. Okay. Then next week, we'll go with a project using Spring Boot and Angular. Okay. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj.